Well, I mean, it's very interesting. I was talking to Chris, my boyfriend, about this a few weeks ago, or maybe longer. I don't know what time is, but just about like maybe not babies, but like younger kids, or even like probably just like younger kids. Like this is what they know as normal, maybe.
Yeah, I've been seeing this. I don't know if you would call it a meme, but this thing that's been on like Facebook and whatnot, where parents of young kids are asking a few questions like, what is COVID? How do you protect yourself? Do you like being home? Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to go outside? And the answers are really wild. Like, what is COVID? A lot of these really little kids just know what it is. And then how do you protect yourself is like with a cape and sword and shield, So it's like there is a disconnect, but it's really innocent and doesn't have that same like all-encompassing fear that we seem to have as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's so much media. There's so many commercials, like we talked about last week, where everything is assembled around this idea of COVID being a part of the landscape now. And kids are so much more perceptive than we are when it comes to that sort of stuff. That, it makes sense that they could probably repeat verbatim a lot of the things that you would need to do and are internalizing it in a way that also, probably is a lot less fear-based too. Because it's not like there's no jump scare involved with this,
right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think that would be what would frighten a child. But like, if you're just repeating something and, telling people what to do, maybe that would be something that would just be normal and not terrifying.
It could be. Yeah, it's interesting to dive into. I feel like for us, a big part of the fear is that we're losing our sense of normalcy, which the kids they're learning. They're still learning what that is. I mean, we're still learning what that is to some degree too, but we're at least at a point in life where we have an idea of what it is and it's being flipped on its head. And for these little ones, I feel like they're going to be fine.
Well, the advantage that kids have over us is like, they don't really understand job loss or like
right.
Politics and anything that's been like really causing my anxiety. I feel like they don't really have to deal with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, do you remember being a kid? I don't know if this is a typical thing, but I remember watching I could only tell time by length of TV shows. So we'd go on a car trip and I'd ask, how long is it till we get to so-and-so's house? And my mom would say 3 Barneys.
Oh my gosh.
or something like that. Also, she's probably going to watch this and maybe I'm remembering it completely wrong. She'll correct me if I am. But I do remember having such a skewed sense of time. Yeah. And I wonder, how kids are thinking about this whole length of time. Like, it's such a significant portion of their lives now.
Yeah, that's how I'll do a poor job explaining this, but the idea being that like if you go from the age of 1 to the age of 2 and you have any memories of that time, that's half of your life, So a child that's 5 right now and they experience 3 months in quarantine is like the equivalent of us 2 or 3 years of our lives,
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I know a lot of people with kids, but I don't talk to them regularly. But my one friend, Sarah, who has a 6-year-old, in the beginning, like she was explaining to her that like basically this is happening and, we can't go outside and this is what we have to do. And like she understood all of that. But the next day she'd be like, so we're going to school today, right? And it's like every day kind of had to start over. Like, no, like we're still not doing that today. Like this is still happening. And I feel like, a lot of us kind of felt that way too in the beginning. We're like, oh, it's 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And then every 2 weeks we're like, it's over, right?
Totally. Sure. I mean, I remember vividly I think it was just the first or maybe 10 days in, and we were all on a Zoom call, and someone suggested having Passover over Zoom. And I was like, it was still 3 weeks away, and I was like, no, why would you even say that? We will definitely be done with this by then. And I was so upset because I couldn't even like fathom that we would possibly still be here. And now, like, 2 months later, we're still here.
Passover was so long ago.
So long ago.
Do either of you remember some sort of world-changing event from that formative age? I remember the Berlin Wall falling when I was 5. And I can't say that it was like, something that shook my world, but I just remember being on the bus in kindergarten and like having a very, strong memory and understanding of the idea that this major event is happening.
Oh, wow. Well, that happened about 6 months before I was born.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that one. But
Yeah. No.
I mean, they don't happen that
remember
frequent. They don't happen that frequently.
no, well, I'm trying to think what would be, because Sophie, you would have been probably 2 or 3 when that happened in '89.
Yeah, it would have been 2.
I'm trying to think what would have happened in your 4, 5, 6 range, or in my 4, 5, 6 range, like
The
between
Oklahoma,
94 and 97, I guess.
Yeah, the Oklahoma City bombing, I think. But that's like not a global scale event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. Turns out nothing happened in the 90s, really.
Well, Jesse
Yeah.
was born.
I was born. Do you remember that? Was that impactful and earth-shattering?